Welcome back to another episode of Silent Pals Go to the Movies. Today I will be reviewing the movie Pray for the Devil. So just fair warning, there's going to be spoilers up ahead, so you've been warned. A nun prepares to perform an exorcism and comes face to face with a demonic force with the mysterious ties to her past. So let's begin with my first pro. The formula for this movie is the same as the director used for his other movie, The Last Exorcism, and another movie called The Rite. The Rite I really enjoyed. Both of these movies follow exorcisms and how some believe them to be demonic possessions, while others see them as a psychological illness that some people don't understand or have not diagnosed the patients with. Then it lays down some rules for the demonic possessions to follow and add some characters that walk the fine line between the religious and science, and then boom, you see evil pop out. Thus the thrill that these films bring and why I keep coming back to watch them. I love how they take the Vatican and act like they have some secret set of rules, and sometimes they even add real details in there to somewhat validate that the film is correct. And then you are left asking yourself, if you believe in evil, then what is it that is stopping it from getting to you? Which is how some of the audience members get scared, besides all the cheap jump scares. For some people at least, but for me, it's about taking religion or science and having a character question it, but at the end, they find out that yeah, evil is real, but somehow they find a way to overcome it, and on this journey, we are truly scared. Next point is the way the movie chose the color palette and the lack of lighting they used in the film. If you notice, most of the time it is in dark areas or maybe late at night, which if you want to relate to religion, darkness is evil, light is good, so darkness is the presence of the devil and the lack of God. And just like Father Quinn said to the students that they are in a battle against evil for souls. So the idea of the darkness always being present when Sister Anne is on screen, it says that the evil entity is always around her and maybe even toying with her. Next is the ensemble of cast. We have Jacqueline Byers as Sister Anne, Virginia Madsen as Dr. Peters, and then we have Colin Salmon as Father Quinn, and Ben Cross as Cardinal Matthews. Also, we have Posse Taylor as Natalie, the little girl who's possessed. All of them did a great job with their characters. A few that stood out were Posse, Colin, Ben, and Jacqueline to a certain extent. Also, I want to let people know that at the end of the credits, there is a tribute to Ben Cross, who died of cancer back in August of 2020. So after the movie was done filming, he passed away. So rest in peace. And now to move on to my cons. So just like when making a cake, it's not enough to have the ingredients at hand, but you need to know when to use them and when to add them in to the recipe. So this movie is sort of the same way. They have all the things they needed, but the execution was not well done. One thing that stood out was how they seemed to rush over key things that would make the story easier to follow. One of them is Anne's mother, who was possessed and she killed herself to save Anne, but we do not know this at the beginning. But then we also don't know how Anne became a nun, and boom, out of nowhere, Natalie tells us that Anne had a child and gave it up while finding the convent where she became a nun. Like, really, you had to skip over this and you thought it would be okay for a little girl to give us a quick cliff note. I'm sorry, but that doesn't go well with me. Another thing that stood out were all the cheap jump scares. One, there were too many. Two, they were predictable, and not to mention that after a few times, you are left with getting diminishing returns from people not falling for them in the audience. Next con is the story and how it was rushed. With Anne's character's development, yeah, we know she is one for not following rules, but come on, you are going to have her do one thing and get kicked out of the school, then come back later to save the day. At least why not show us an exorcism training montage like Rocky? At least then we would be like, yeah, we feel she's ready to take on the demon that has been tormenting her whole life, but with only one fight under her belt, and yeah, it was sort of a loss just like Rocky. How can we get on board with that? At least have her coach, Father Quinn, be on her ringside telling her to get up and keep fighting. Also, the idea that no one witnessed the exorcism and people died and she was breaking in to perform it in the school. But you know what? The Vatican says, come on over and train with us. Oh yeah, and did Father Quinn also get mad at her for performing the previous exorcism on Emily, Dante's sister, and claiming victory when the demon retreated just to fool them into thinking they had won? What if Natalie's demon did the same thing and is still in Natalie and just biding his time? Why didn't Father Quinn check up into this or anything? At the end, we do see a demon, the devil, or something attack Anne on her way to the Vatican. I mean, it's not like there's going to be part 2 for this movie, is there? Also, there's other things they could have done to have fixed some of these things, like have Anne talk to other nuns and the demon kill those nuns, sort of to get Anne in trouble and make it seem like she was possessed. So maybe the school could lock her up, thinking she was possessed and trying to investigate, and maybe even Father Quinn coming to her rescue and saying, hey, she's not the one who's possessed, we're dealing with something else, she's probably the prey. Maybe that's because the title was called Prey, or maybe the word prey in the title title was misspelled. But yeah, I think this movie was like, hey, why don't we take two movies that had to do with exorcisms, combine them together, give it a new title, and boom, we're done. Just add some credits. So my grade for this movie is going to be a 4 out of 10. I went into hoping for it to be a good exorcism movie that I could recommend to friends, but now I might recommend it to friends as what not to do with this genre of movies. Instead of Pray for the Devil, it should be called Pray We Make Our Budget Back. So that does it for the review of Pray for the Devil. Please join us next time where we're going to review Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone. Have I not given everything?
Please like, comment, and subscribe. You can find our social media links below. And like always, keep watching movies.